What's up, everybody? You know what time it is. Friday night from the forum. We're here for your fantasy football questions and answers. And this week, guess what? It's never too late. You may have started 1-7, maybe 2-6. But now Travion Henderson's 6 touchdowns in, and you're undefeated the last 2 weeks. Let's rock. What's up? What's up, everybody? Joe, it's happening. It's happening for me. Look, I had in a couple of my leagues, it started rough. It was sad. I was in a bad place. I lost Malik Neighbors. I lost Tyreek Hill. I lost James Conner. Just everybody dropping like crazy. But now I am on a 3-win streak. I'm looking like I'm going to pull the playoffs out the bag. And Dobbins is hurt, so my RJ Harvey shares just went through the roof. We might make this end of season run. What's up?
Dude, you know what? This J.K. Dobbins thing, I might have a shot at winning Fishbowl. I'm currently 32nd, and I have had I've had Harvey sitting there useless all season. I've never played him. Had him in the 5th round. I was like, he's my worst pick. And now all of a sudden, I'm like, here we go. It's time. And you punched your ticket in too, so you'll be dancing in the playoffs next week as well.
That's right. That's right. Shout out to Scott Fish and the Scott Fish Bowl. Great tournament, great charity. Pumped about that. So, look, here's where we are. It's week 11. We're here for your start and sit questions. So if you got them, hit them in the chat. We got Limelight Worship in the chat. Let's go. Joe Frick, my guy, real hot boy. Can't say that on air. And BHS Cardinal 16. Let's go. Look, we got a show for you. If you've been in that desolate place like me where, you had a few leagues where you took some shots on some guys and your Bucky Irving went down, like you got Jonathan Taylor on bye this week, all these things, these many things, it's never done. Like I've started a season 0-6 and came back and made the playoffs and then won in the playoffs based on a hot streak. And it just feels like one of those years. It feels like one of those years where the second half of the league completely shifts. I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, it's so true because unlike real sports, there's no such thing as home field advantage in fantasy. If you're dancing, you have a chance. And it doesn't matter if your team squeaked by with 7 wins. It doesn't matter if you won every single game. It all starts fresh. Your best players can flop. The people that have done nothing all season can have big games. Look at last season, the players that won you championships. It wasn't Bijan Robinson. It wasn't all of these like stud dudes. It was really no-name guys. It was who's the wide receiver from Tampa Bay that's completely forgotten about? Neck injury.
McMillan.
Yeah, McMillan. Multi-touchdown game. You had him randomly picked up. He got you a championship. So just keep playing until it says that you have been eliminated from contention. You're still in it. So keep fighting. Let's get these questions in the chat answered. I'm excited to talk some ball with some folks tonight.
Yeah. So again, this is your Q&A show. So light it up. Give us your questions. It's just me and Joe tonight rocking, and we're here for you. So Galaxy Pickers right off the cuff. Trade Adunze and Harvey for Saquon. Roster is JT, Judkins, Marks, Harvey, Lamb, London, Adunze, Diggs. Look, here's the deal. I'm probably not going to do this trade. And while Saquon is an absolute beast, J.K. Dobbins has averaged over 5 yards a carry all season. Last week he rushed for was it 70, 80 yards, something like that? Or no, he had a 100-yard game, I think. It is now Harvey's backfield. And we've seen over the last couple weeks multiple touchdown games for Harvey. I think Harvey could legit be a league winner for somebody. And I'm not saying that Saquon's out, but I'm just saying that you've got Lamb in London, so those are your starters, and then it's just Odunze and Diggs. You've got other running backs. Like
the only positive, I mean, there's a lot of positives. Saquon's a great football player. That hasn't changed. That offense, it's really an offensive coordinator issue. I'm waiting for them to fire that bozo. He sucks. But if you look at the playoff schedule, they have the Raiders. The Raiders, they're a plus matchup. You have the Commanders, who couldn't stop a nosebleed. They're a plus matchup. Then championship week, you have the Bills. Everybody is trying to run on the Bills right now. So I do like that. Now, let's take a look at the Odunze Harvey. Looking at that team, you're not going to play anybody over JT. Judkins, I don't know if you're playing anybody over him. It's just, do you think that Odunze comes back to form? Because Diggs has turned out really solid lately with Drake May. He's had over 6 catches or over 100 yards, or it was like over 100 yards or a TD in 6 consecutive games. So it's like he's putting up points. That's a great flex. Lamb in London, you're starting every week no matter what. So it's really what comes down to that last depth spot. I do like Harvey. That offense feels like they need to move away from Bo Nix a little bit. And I don't like the idea of like you have great depth. If like you have a running back go down, you can pivot. If you have a receiver that goes down, you can pivot. You're losing that a little bit. I would be going after somebody who has been performing this year. Saquon's been a bit under the radar as far as like keeping up with what he did last year. I feel like you're overpaying for Saquon. You're paying for the name value, but the fantasy production just hasn't been there. So I'm probably not taking this deal.
All right. So next question, same Galaxy Pickers. Start Marks over Harvey. I'm still rolling Harvey. There's the touches are going to be crazy. Like we're going to see him run the ball. I'm going Harvey over Marks here. You in the same boat, Joe?
It's a tough call. The Kansas City defense is just so strong. They're only allowing 15 points per game to running backs in fantasy in the last 3 weeks. They played the Bills, they played the Washington Commanders, and they played Vegas. So, 2 out of those 3 pretty solid running back rooms. You look at what Woody Marks did to Tennessee the first time around. Everybody thought that was his big breakout game. He had over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. They said this week that they're no longer viewing the rookies as rookies, which is like a really weird thing to say out loud. But I really do like that matchup against Tennessee. Yes, Nick Chubb is there. He only had 5 carries last week. So, yes, I do like RJ Harvey. I think RJ Harvey is a top 24 running back this week. I just like the matchup for Marks a little bit better. So, I'm just leaning ever so slightly to Marks. And that's just a compliment to the Kansas City defense more than anything.
Look, and there's gonna be some times that we disagree. I love, like, this is like one of those things where, like, somebody asks you, are you fiscally responsible person? Like, if you break it down the stats, if you do dollar, you go, yes, Marks, it makes sense. Like against Tennessee, it's rough. This season has been such a like go all out or go home for me in fantasy that's been like my trend. Like I tend to lean towards players with huge upside, like big play potential, the explosive plays that we could see, especially, in Fishbowl where you got all these bonuses and things like that, so that's why I lean Harvey. I just think he's got more chance to pop. But I mean, either one are great. So hopefully that gets your question, Galaxy Pickers. We don't have a tiebreaker here this week. Where's Matthias? And
yeah, right. Where is he? He's lurking in there somewhere.
Yeah. Ruben in the chat. Who should I flex? AJ Brown or Woody Marks? Current wide receivers are Nico and T. Running backs are Javante and Warren. AJ Brown said on Twitter, "Don't start him in your fantasy team." Joe just gave you a whole reason why he would go Woody Marks. Do you change that, or are you still rolling Marks here?
So here's the thing. The Eagles historically under like the Jalen Hurts quarterback era, he is much better against man-to-man defense than zone defense. The Eagles are up against the Lions this week. The Lions play man-to-man almost 41% of the time. AJ Brown, it screams they're going to feed him the ball because they're so upset and like with what he said on Twitch or wherever he was streaming on, which was funny because if you saw the report after that, he was like, look, I said all the right things and then I was just messing around with a friend on the stream and then you guys are turning a big story into it, even though when I said all the right things, you made a story into it anyway. So like, I don't even care anymore. I have this hunch that they're going to try to force feed him against Detroit. I think that's going to be a pretty high scoring game. All that being said, if you look at this lineup that he got this week, so you got Nico Collins as a smash matchup, and him and Davis Mills had a great connection last week. We haven't seen that pretty much all year with CJ Stroud. T. Higgins up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to give up a lot of receptions, a lot of yards. Joe Flacco smashed them the last time they played. I'm honestly terrified of what's going to happen again. Javonte and Warren, also great. So it's like, I feel like you could not play either one and you're probably going to win this week, which is great. It's a great place to be. I do like the floor of Woody Marks. And since I feel so confident with those other players, that's where I'm ultimately going to go. But I do think that Brown is set for a pretty solid week.
Lord, everybody hopes so. AJ Brown's been one of those where if you've had him on your roster, it's an automatic start. You can't just not start AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And you just left a lot of weeks sad. We got Albert in the chat. What's up, fellas? Appreciate you, Albert. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to drop those questions into the chat. Tryhard said, where did Bijan go? This has been a thing. Bijan had what, like multiple 20 plus 30 point games. The last like week 4 is like 28 point or 20 something points. Week 6, 30 something points, 2 or a touchdown and like over 200 yards total. Week 7, 20 plus points. And then Miami, you didn't expect it, shut them down. New England, he was fine, but he really just made it up in receptions. He had a 96-yard game, no touchdowns. It's just okay, right? And then last week against Indy, it's not ugly. Like he still had 84 yards rushing and 2 catches for 4 yards, but you're just not getting Bijan fantasy points. He had 10 points last week,
Right. And the hard part is that not only is that happening, but then Algier is getting all the touchdowns.
Yeah. It's breaking.
So that's like super frustrating for fantasy folks. I mean, if you look, he only has, for somebody that was a consensus number 1 overall, like between him and Chase, he was easily the number 1 running back off the board, right? He's only had 1 top 10 finish this year in PPR. That is crazy. And that was the Miami game.
Yeah. And for
I'm sorry. I was looking at fantasy points, not top finishes. No, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, I mean, yeah, he's had 3 weeks that are off. I don't know. I think people are overreacting a little bit. New England's a solid matchup. Indy's a solid matchup. What's going to be interesting is his fantasy playoff schedule. So you got Tampa Bay, Arizona, and then the Rams championship week. Like the Rams championship week sucks.
Yeah, but if you're fighting to get into the championship, like if you're just trying to get a playoff berth, like he's somebody that I've been targeting because that next like 3 to 4 weeks is nice, for Bijan owners.
And that Galaxy Pickers, people are panicking about Bijan because he was RB24 last week. If you're going to go out there and give away Odunze and Harvey's kind of like the hot name right now. Go after like a Bijan. Why am I chasing after Saquon? Saquon's been like fine, but he hasn't been Saquon 2024, 2025. People are going to freak out about Bijan. He's been averaging 5 yards a carry on the season. He slowed down a little bit last week. He had the tough game against Miami. Miami's defense, for whatever reason, has turned it around a little bit. They were a wet paper bag at the start of the season, but they've become more respectable as time goes. That's my whole argument about not looking at season-long stats. People are going to look at Miami all year and be like, great matchup, great matchup, great matchup. That's not the case anymore. So to me, Bijan, he's somebody you should be fighting, getting after for it, for sure.
I will say I was looking at Saquon's schedule, and you nailed it. Like in the playoffs, like it's outside of really the Chargers. It's, Dallas, Chicago, Vegas, Washington, Buffalo, Washington. Saquon's another, but like it's crazy that you could say that. Like right now, so a lot of people's trade deadlines are they either happened last week or they're happening this week.
Right.
And you are at an ultimate. I mean, freaking Saquon had 13 points this past week in PPR. So like you're at the ultimate, I feel like buy low opportunity for Bijan or for Saquon. Like I'm pushing the envelope. I'm gonna try to make a trade. I just don't want to trade Harvey away. Like I want Harvey on my team. Like he is
for sure
killer flex.
No, definitely. The hard part with Saquon is Saquon actually has only finished top 10 twice. Week 1 against Dallas, a couple weeks ago against the Giants. That's it.
Yeah.
He's been typically like around the 15 range. So it's like for me to give up Rome and somebody that could be a league winner. Like it'd be one thing if you had RJ Harvey and you were sitting on him and like this injury didn't happen. Like if I was getting CMC, if I'm getting Bijan, like if you didn't have Jonathan Taylor, but like with the Colts being on bye, if you're sitting pretty right now and you have that kind of depth, I mean, I understand the Galaxy Pickers already had JT, so you can't go out and trade for him. But if somebody has him and somehow has been flubbing the season away, that's the people that you target. Like targeting Saquon, who's been RB11.
Here's how you trade. Here's how you do the trade. You just switch one thing. I'm fine with the Dunze going bye-bye. You have Lamb, London, and Diggs. I'm fine with that. You can grab a Juwan Jennings off waivers.
Yeah.
I want to switch Harvey for Marks. I
or
want to
Judkins, honestly.
No, I want to keep Judkins. But I would deal Marks and a Dunze for Saquon. I think that's the move.
Yeah.
If they're interested. I know obviously Harvey has the hype. And honestly, with Saquon down and Harvey's narrative right now, it's like the stock market. The stock just went up. You may be able to get Saquon straight if they really like Harvey that much. Crazy to see. Like people will be trying to be like, "Oh, that's a vetoable trade," but it's a real thing. Galaxy Picker said, "In my professional opinion, AJ Brown has been the worst return on draft capital this year. If anything, he's even with BTJ. Those two are tough. Those two are very, very tough on the season. I don't know. Is there a bigger bust in your mind?
I mean, we're not going to count like injuries, right?
I mean, injuries do count in your fantasy season.
Because, I mean, like, obviously losing Malik Neighbors early, like, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, but Malik Neighbors got you a couple really good weeks before that.
Up until a couple of weeks ago, I would put Chase Brown in that list. I don't think Jaden Daniels lived up to snuff.
It's that sophomore slump.
Kamara has been exceptionally disappointing. If his name wasn't Alvin Kamara, he would not be rostered right now.
That's true.
He's been pretty tough. Terry McLaurin, I feel like, is a tough one. I do think with AJ Brown and BTJ, like they were back in the first round picks. So it's like you missing on the 4th or 5th round when you drafted Kamara. That's an easier pill to swallow.
He says he's talking no injuries.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's take injuries out.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think they're definitely up there for sure. So, yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
All right. Keeping it rolling. All right. So, Joe, let's see here. Galaxy Picker said one more thing. He said, I think AJB ADP is early round 2, the latest. I mean, he was going, I would say, pretty consistently late first round, early second round to mid second. I did see him go mid to late second in some cases, but yeah, it's been a tough world out there. So Matthiasen isn't here for us to talk about it, but right before the trade deadline in our league, I was pushing for a trade. Travion Henderson had been not great, And, Ricky Pearsall was coming back. They had clips of him at practice. He's going to be everything we hope he would be. J.K. Dobbins had several good games coming off 100-yarder. So there he is. Sent out J.K. Dobbins and Ricky Pearsall in Dynasty for Travion Henderson. I know. I feel like a week ago you would have been like, I
never lost from a dynasty perspective. Henderson was my RB4 on at the start. I liked him more than Judkins coming out. I thought they were close. I think Judkins was criminally underrated coming out of the draft process. But I wasn't worried because there was nothing on the field that was like, oh man, it's not going to translate. He sucks. It was just all right, his coach isn't playing him. Fine. Vrabel's kind of a weird dude. He's done this before. I'm fine with it. So for me, it was you weren't getting him for less than what I was being drafted. There's no way.
Mathiasen said in the chat, he said, Neighbors week 1 had 5 catches, 71 yards. Great week 2, and then 2 duds. So he had 1 great, 2 duds, and 1 week single digits, half-point PPR for a first-round pick. Yeah, I mean, it was a dud, and a lot of that was the Russell Wilson had 1 good game.
It was an incredible,
incredible game.
If you look at the season for Russ, it was okay, he put up the 450-yard game, and then I don't know if he put up 450 yards the rest of the season.
Let's see. So game 1 against Washington, 168 yards passing, had 44 rushing yards though.
Right.
Week 2 against Dallas.
Yeah, he smashed
out 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then week 3 against Kansas City, you got 160 yards and 2 picks. Then comes the Dart era. So you got 1 beast of a game.
and that's the hard part, and that's going to be the what if for Malik Neighbors. Obviously, people are going to still believe in the talent, but if you've seen what Dart has done with the weapons that he has, I think that Neighbors is probably going to get overdrafted next year.
I'm worried about that the Giants offense. I think that they did. I mean, Scatabo, Dart, they got some young offensive studs. The problem is they play like rookies in the fact that they don't protect themselves. I knew as soon as I saw Scatabo run the ball 3 or 4 times, I'm like, this guy's not gonna make it. He's just gonna get in.
Yeah,
and I understand he trained himself for it. Light poles and everything else. He's mentally prepared for the head knocking that he's going to receive, and has built a concussion resistance level that is unknown. But he's going to get hurt. The way he plays is going to get hurt. And then Dart also just going into contact, running. I mean, he's running the ball more than Josh Allen runs the ball. It's just and here we go. He's banged up. And so the Giants, they're gonna have to tighten that down. And then Mathias said always got to add the Giants stadium as a risk factor.
MetLife Stadium, I wouldn't even want to go and watch a game at that field. I feel I would leave with an injury.
It's cursed.
It's gotta be. They had to have built it on some forbidden land, or there was a fire where that used to be, or something like that. It's unbelievable. And I forget who said it, but they said there should be no NFL stadium with as much revenue as the NFL makes as the butt of a joke for how unsafe it is to play on your field. That should never happen with as expensive of a product that this is. And that there's no urgency to make that better. It's very shocking to me.
Let's see. Said, are we worried about London and these nagging injury tags? I'm not. I mean, Penix is just pushing the ball to him, and London's getting open. You would think a lot of catches in traffic, but there's so many. He's finding the space and the levels in the defense. He's getting open. I'm not worried about it. They're gonna play him, especially because Atlanta's competing. Like Atlanta has a shot to get into the playoffs. That defense is nice.
That defense, the way that they've transformed that defense, it's very reminiscent of how the Rams kind of redid theirs. Like Atlanta won draft, and it's like, wow, like this is crazy. This is not the Falcons that I remember. Drake London, it's got a back injury right now. It's probably from carrying that offense right now. November 2nd against the Patriots, he had 9 receptions, 118, 3 touchdowns, had the hat trick. Then turns around against the Colts, 6 receptions, 104 for 1 TD. Darnell Mooney's not doing a lot. Kyle Pitts hasn't really done a whole lot. Bijan on a milk carton last week. So it's been all Drake London, and he's probably just sick of it. So he'll be fine. I'm not worried about him. He's young enough that he's still mostly made out of rubber. So you keep grinding for it.
I said it's the curse of Jimmy Hoffa. Mob buried him under MetLife. Matthiasen said Atlanta. It's not out of the question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're necessarily in a spot to do it. They're 3-6 right now, but the NFC is a lot more kind of open, I guess. You have a lot of 6-win teams. So if they go on a run, from their perspective, they're still pushing in. They're not going to get there. The NFC West probably has 3 teams. You got the Seahawks, Rams, 49ers. The Buccaneers are going to win that division. I don't see Bryce Young holding on with the Panthers, even though they're 5-5. Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings. The NFC North is going to cannibalize each other, but that's going to be solid. And then you have the Eagles and then the Island of Misfits with the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Giants. So,
yeah, it's crazy. You know, there's still. I say this. We still have 7 weeks.
You'll have 7 weeks plus this week, so 8 really.
Yeah, so you got 8 weeks. The league is not that separated. You look at the NFC North, like the leader is 6-3, right? You look at the NFC South, the leader is
You're
6-3.
Right. Yeah, that's right, baby. We're still up at the top spot.
So, like a team sitting there with 3 wins can easily push their way up. So he said, so if we believe Atlanta the playoffs, so you agree the Vikings have a chance too at the playoffs?
They could. I mean, there's definitely a chance. They need to reel off some wins real quick. I think the biggest thing is going to be those divisional games. They've got the Bears, like this game against the Bears this week for them is going to be huge. The Bears, then they got the Packers the week after that. Like this next 2 weeks is really going to make a break.
Well, and see, here's the thing. They're only 2 games back.
Right.
Like they're 2 games back from being right there with the Lions. So like if they were to win the next 2 weeks, like if they beat the Bears, that pushes the Bears down to 6-4, and then puts them to 5-5. Then if they beat the Packers, that puts them at 6-5. I mean, it's absolutely possible. What's their schedule look like beyond that? So you've got 2 tough ones there, and then you got Seahawks. But then following that, look at this. You got 3 should be okay.
It's like compliment
Cowboys, Giants.
Yeah, it's like the compliment sandwich where it's like you put like 3 nice things and then you say something that's like the actual criticism and then you do like 3 nice things. Their schedule is like the opposite of that. So they have like 2 divisional games back-to-back, Bears and Packers. The Seahawks, that's going to be a brutal game for them. Like that's going to be tough. But then you get Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. There's your like little nice, like you need to win all 3 of those weeks for sure. And then you probably need to win. You got to at least split with the Packers. You're going to need to win that home game on Christmas against the Lions. The Bears, you're going to want to handle business. So they're going to have to go on a little bit of a run. Is it possible? Yes. Do I think that they will? Probably not, because I have no faith in Mr. 9 or whatever he's calling himself these days.
Mr. 9. Mr. 9. I've really enjoyed this year. Like this year,
the parity is definitely prevalent this year. There's not a lot of teams that are running away with it. We definitely have some teams that have kind of like taken stuff up at the top, but the kind of like the last 3 or 4 playoff spots, like the wild card spots, are all absolutely wide open. There are some divisions that are more or less kind of wrapped up, but those wild card spots, it's going to come down to the final week of the season, which is what the NFL wants anyway.
I don't know that. I mean, I don't know that anything's like wrapped up necessarily. I mean, I guess the closest thing might be like the AFC South.
The Eagles, there's no way they're losing the East.
Yeah, I would say the Eagles and the Colts have
Right.
the biggest shot to hold. I mean, they've got 3 game leads.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I mean, like the Bears and Lions, tight. The Buccaneers, Panthers, which is wild.
The Ravens pretty much already have the AFC North locked up.
49ers, Rams, and Seahawks, tight. You got 2 7-win teams and the 49ers right behind them with 6 wins. Like it's going to be fun to see how it all plays out. Speaking of that, I mean, if you're trying to win your fantasy league and JT has been an absolute monster, I know everybody is worrying about this. Tryhard said, "Do you think JT can stay healthy?" What do you think, Joe? With the workload he's getting, you know, traditionally he's not somebody that's been viewed as a, you know, somebody that lasts per se. I mean, he's missed time. What every single season minus his sophomore year, he's missed time.
No, JT is a yeah. I mean, here's the thing about JT. So he's missed some time in the NFL. You're going to get bumps and bruises. That's just the way that it goes. Sophomore year, you're right. He was AP All Pro, like offensive player of the year. He came in second. Leading up to the NFL, his durability was one of his biggest calling cards. He didn't miss a single practice in high school, in college. It was until he got to the pros that it was like, all right, like I'm getting
it caught up with him. Just to say, no,
Sure.
it caught up with him.
I have no concerns about him staying healthy. I'm riding it till the wheels fall off. I think that he's done a great job of not taking like pretty heavy hits. And 2, it's just you can't play like that. Like if you anybody can get hurt any given week. I mean, you look at Scatterboo, you would have said, hey, he's probably going to get a concussion. Har. Like, dude got tackled from behind and sat on his ankle. Like, you can't plan for that.
Look, I honestly believe he probably has had like 3 concussions since he started running the football a lot or getting a lot of carries. He just is so used to concussions. It's like how his brain normally functions. So, no, I mean, it's oh man, he's going to have to learn to protect himself. All right, so we got Galaxy Pickers said, any solid wide receiver stashes pickups from waivers. These are the people available: Naylor, Burden, Io Manor, Higgins, Tillman. If I was looking at this list, I would tell you Higgins. Like Jaden Higgins, had a great game. The problem is CJ Stroud is not playing great football right now. So like this week, yeah, Jaden Higgins up. Last week, yeah, Jaden Higgins up with Davis Mills throwing the football. It just shifts when Stroud's throwing, and it hasn't been super effective this year. So that would have been who I would go with. But honestly, I don't know who on your roster you would have to drop for any of these guys. You know, they're all pretty down and hopeful. I mean, Joe, I think you've talked about Burden some. Is there anybody here that you're like, I want to grab?
I mean, I can rule out a couple of folks. Naylor is not somebody that I'm looking at. I know he had the big game last week, but Minnesota's not throwing the ball enough with McCarthy that you're not going to have that consistent upside there. Burden, I do like. He's really popped as far as like route running and being able to get open. We haven't seen the opportunities, but he's also been banged up. I like the Chicago offense. I like what they're doing. You're hoping that he can overtake, and DJ Moore's kind of been looking more or less flat outside of that wide receiver 3 performance he had a couple weeks ago out of nowhere. Alec, I like as a prospect. I don't have any faith in that Tennessee offense. He's not somebody that I'm stashing right now. Jaden Higgins, just like you said, I like a lot. There's some concerns there. Him and Burden would be the 2. Tillman, unless they find a new quarterback, Dylan's Gabriel is not throwing for enough yards to make him relevant. So they're running a lot of 2 tight end formation. I feel like Fannin and Njoku are going to be the most consistent targets. We saw Jerry Jeudy have a good game, scored his first touchdown last week, but you're not getting the Joe Flacco chuck it experience that we got last year, where we saw Tillman have that stretch of where he was a wide receiver 1 for 3 weeks. So to me, it's go with the young guys. It's unproven. I would want to see them excel for a couple of weeks before I throw them in the lineup, but I would rather have them than somebody that's just kind of sitting there putting up 6 to 8 points every week. I'd rather have them on the bench with a dud in the event that something happens. The hard part about wide receivers is it's like, okay, so you're looking at Burden, you're looking at Higgins. When a running back, I like keeping running backs as stashes because typically there's only one guy that you have to have get injured and then they immediately become relevant. A wide receiver, you have 3 or 4 guys that are out there playing in consistent snaps. Even if the guy that you would slide in for gets hurt, that doesn't put you at the top of the pecking order as far as targets. So it's a lot harder for wide receivers to become more relevant. But I think that Burden and Higgins are going to be your best bet.
All right, moving on. Purdy or Flacco. Look, this is simple. You go with Flacco. Since Flacco started playing for
Flacco's been balling.
He has first game, right? Or Green Bay, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pittsburgh. Well, I think he got traded for the Pittsburgh game, right?
No, so he played. Green Bay was his first game for Cincinnati. He came in that Thursday. And then that week he was quarterback 15.
Then you get Pittsburgh, 342 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then you get the Jets, 223 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then you get Chicago. Then you get Chicago, 470 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Quarterback 2.
He's been on bye. He got a little rest. He's coming back for week 11 against Pittsburgh, who rewind. He went 350 yards, 3 touchdowns on and Purdy is just coming back from injury. He's been watching Mac Jones play. Okay. The weapons aren't as heavy. I'm out. Give me the old man Flacco and we're riding to the ship. Smitty said, start 1, Monty, White, or Hunt. Who you want, Joe?
Give me Rachaad White. He has a good matchup this week. He was my only fantasy subscription of the week if you watch my Wednesday night show. So I'm really high on him. I believe I have him in the running back 15 range this week. Let me double check my numbers here. Yeah, running back 15. Monty, I think, has a tough matchup this week. The kind of the game back. What's that?
I saw Bucky was at practice. Is he back?
Bucky's out. Bucky's out for the week. Chris Godwin is out for the week as well. But if we're looking at the matchup for Detroit, Detroit's got Philly. Philly's pretty stout against the run. They have a great front 4. They've acquired Jalen Phillips. But if you look at the running backs who have had moderate success against Philadelphia this year, they're pass catching backs. Monty isn't a negative as far as pass catching. He just doesn't get a lot of opportunities because he's not Jahmyr Gibbs. So to me, Monty is an RB3 this week. Kareem Hunt matchup, not great. Denver is really stout against the run as well. So for me, it's Rachaad White really easily. And if you're really in a desperate spot, I also think that Sean Tucker could have some back end RB2 possibility this week. So yeah, give me the Tampa run game.
All right, to Smitty, do you think Bryce Young will go on his end of season playing good run? So the answer is no. Look, Bryce Young, they've been good. They've been better. They're trying to make a run for the playoff spot, but his end of season, his next 3 games,
brutal.
Atlanta, San Francisco, and the Rams. All 3 good defenses. San Francisco is probably the lightest out of those, and that's saying something. Then they get a bye, and then he gets his best matchup, New Orleans, which is not really great for passing. New
Orleans has been a neutral matchup for sure. Yeah, they're not a plus matchup. It's all through the ground.
Then you get Tampa, Seattle, Tampa.
No, thank you.
It's a pass for me. I mean, I hope so, but I'm not staking anything on it. If it happens, it's going to be one of those I didn't expect that. What a surprise.
That was me last year for sure. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a tough end of season run right there. Galaxy Pickers, what do we think about Quorum for a stash in the playoffs? I don't hate it.
I
What
love
about
it.
you?
Yeah, I mean, Corum, if you look, since Corum has been drafted, Kyron Williams used to be like an on the field all the time kind of guy. We know that Sean McVay loves Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams is a rookie. Before he even saw action on the field, they were gushing about him. Corum, though, he isn't necessarily flashy, but he does what they want in that offense well. And he's one of those runners that always seems to fall forward, kind of like a Zach Charbonnet in a way. You never see them like getting tackled and falling backwards. When I think about playoff stashes, I want guys that are going to be on winning teams that have like bell cow upside and that I don't need them to be relevant on my bench. Like I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, let me have I don't know, like one of the Cardinals running backs that's like, oh, like Bam Knight. Like, what is Bam Knight going to do for me? Like, what is Demarcado going to do for me after Trey Benson comes back? Like, like they might get me 10 points. If something happens to Kyron Williams, Blake Corum immediately is at minimum an RB2 just because of the role that he's going to have on that team. So, yeah, I love the move. There's definitely no shame in having him there. You're probably not ever going to play him unless you get into that kind of premier situation, but that's why you stash them. And you're basically preventing other people from getting that kind of like that goose if you need it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a high upside stash because he's a high up, like he's a big handcuff. Like it's not like it goes to a committee after Kyron goes down. Like it's him. And so I will say this though, his schedule's not great. Like he's got Detroit, he's got Atlanta, he's got, I mean, Arizona's feasible twice. He's got Detroit, Seattle. Like it's not great.
No,
but he's still stashable just because of like if Kyron goes down, the volume.
Well, for sure. And I think the thing too to remember, like I don't know if I would put him in like my top 3 or top 5. Because if you look at the Rams in the red zone, they don't run it a lot. They're saying, hey, I'm throwing a fade to Devonta Adams. Hey, where's Puka at? I'm going to get him into the end zone. Like they throw an absurd amount inside the 20.
Matt Stafford.
But I mean, yeah, so that's the big concern. So I think like who would you say is like your top stash? To me, like it's probably Algier.
Algier's a strong stash. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else like would I be interested in. Nothing from the Chargers, nothing from Green Bay. Ollie Gordon could be interesting, but I just don't have enough faith in that Miami offense. I honestly don't hate Ken Gainwell. We see how they bell cow the Steelers running backs. The Steelers run more than pretty much most teams in the league. So like I like Kenny Gainwell a lot. He's probably available in most leagues.
Yeah, Kenny Gainwell's a great one.
Yeah, but
Dylan Sampson I think is also a great one.
Dylan Sampson's solid, and he has that pass catching upside that you don't really see with Judkins too much. I think like a Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, and speaking of Tank, like Bashal Tootin is strong. Like
Bashal Tootin, I would rather have Bashal Tootin than Corum.
Yeah, me too. All right, key roll in. Matthias said half point PPR, start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. King Henry, Rashad White, Aaron Jones, K9. So 2 running backs. Who do you like? I know you said Rashad White.
Yeah, I do like Rashad White. Henry has the Browns at home this week, which I don't know what happens when they play here, but it's their defense is like night and day different. Derrick Henry played them week 1 in Baltimore, or week 2 in Baltimore. He scored 2 fantasy points. He had 11 carries for 23 yards. He was wide receiver, or he was running back 61. Now, that team is a lot different now. The Ravens are a lot different now. So I'm not saying that you can't play Henry, but I don't feel great about it like I would in other situations. To me, the easy one
obligated.
Yeah, it's more of like an obligation thing. I think Rashad White is the must start. I can't stomach myself playing Ken Walker just because of the split backfield. Seattle has the Rams. The Rams' run defense is sick. So there's
we may have a world where 3 running backs start. So like you get to wide
I don't think,
receivers,
yeah,
and you
I guess
get
you could.
Rasheed, T, QJ, and Addison.
Yeah, I mean you're playing T. Higgins against Pittsburgh, and you're playing Rashee Rice no matter what. So you're playing those wide receivers.
So the question really is if you have some semblance of Rachaad White, King Henry, or Aaron Jones, right? So would you rather have a King Henry or Aaron Jones over a QJ or Addison?
Well, if he already started Diggs, you only can play 2 more wide receivers, and you're going to play Higgins and Rice.
Yeah, I agree.
So then that's done. So it's basically what 2 running backs are you going to start? I can't count apparently. I would say Rachaad White. I might have to adjust my rankings now that I'm sitting here. I might be saying Aaron Jones.
He looked good last week.
And Jordan Mason is becoming a non-factor for that offense. He was unable to do anything with that backfield when he had it to himself. I would feel better about Aaron Jones in a full PPR setting because he does get the receptions. Derrick Henry, that's not really his thing. Aaron Jones only had 9 carries last week. It was really the touchdown that saved him. I got to go with Henry. I'm living in my fears. So I'm going to go with
You got too many weeks that were like, eh. All right. I mean, you're going to get your floor, I think, is Aaron Jones' production last week with Henry. Like, all right. Would you rather stash Bigsby or Corum?
Bigsby.
All right. Start 3, Rachaad White, Shakir, Sticky Ricky.
I hate that nickname. Never say that again.
Tet, Wandale.
I appreciate all of the context behind this, by the way, Jason. This is you are in my brain right now.
Start 3. Well, you already said Rachaad White.
Rachaad White is an easy yes. I think Wandale is also an easy yes. PPR machine. Starting Theo Johnson, that doesn't scare me at all. I like that matchup a lot, actually, for the Giants. And not so much because Green Bay is a good defense. That's not, but it's just the fact that that Green Bay is going to go up in this game and Jameis is going to be slanging.
So who's your third?
I don't think that McMillan is playable right now. And I don't have a lot of confidence in Ricky Pearsall. With soft tissue injuries, that first game back, that makes me uneasy. So I'm going with Khalil Shakir.
All right, there you go, Jason. Start 1 this week. Bo Nix, Aaron Rodgers, Purdy, McCarthy, Geno, Brissett, Winston, Tua, Mariota.
Man, hold on. Let me look at my stuff here. So we got Bo Nix is a no. Rodgers is a probably not. Purdy is a no.
Rodgers is intriguing.
Rodgers is intriguing, but
they're playing Cincinnati. Last time it was the shootout between him and freaking Flacco. It was 200.
It was the Icy Hot Bowl.
Yeah, it was 250 yards and 4 touchdowns for Rodgers that week. Now I'm not saying that he's the one, but
I know. It's funny because that was the week that I gave you all that crap about giving.
I know, and I went and I said I'm going. I said start Rodgers over Jalen Hurts, and you berated me for it.
Who I actually like the most out of this whole list is Tua against Washington.
Oh God, I don't want it. I can't do it.
Washington is just cheeks right now. I think that Jalen Waddle is going to have an insane game, which means that Tua is also going to have an insane game. So I would say Tua number 1.
I would say, go ahead. You said Tua number 1.
So I would say I have most of these guys adjacent to each other in rank. So I have Tua at 14, Mariota at 15, McCarthy at 16, Rodgers at 17. And then I have Brissett at 20. Geno Smith has a good matchup against Dallas, but Geno Smith in good matchups has also flopped how many times this year? He's QB 21 for me.
I'm going with the old man. Give me Aaron Rodgers. Let's go.
Cool.
Which two guys should I put on my bench for stash? Nick Chubb, Pacheco, Tootin, Corum, Isaiah Davis, Emmanuel Wilson, or Stevenson? For a
Okay, hold on. Before you even answer that question, do you think Stevenson gets his job back?
yes. It is a Mike Vrabel thing. It is a Mike Vrabel thing. We're going to get excited about Travion Henderson. He's going to have these couple big games, and then Stevenson's going to come back. They're going to let Henderson carry him downfield through the 30 to the 20, and then once they get in the red zone, they're going to put in Ramondre, and they're going to let Ramondre punch it in. It's what they're going to do, and it's going to make everybody mad.
Yeah. So I think with that, I don't disagree.
That is the most Vrabel thing that can happen. If it doesn't happen, then Vrabel's been redeemed. Like he met Jesus or something, and everything's better.
Mike Vrabel is the only person to ever successfully play just the tip. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is crazy. So I think Stevenson has to be one, just with how successful the Patriots offense is. And then on the flip side, if something happens to Henderson, then Stevenson, I like that. Tootin is probably the second one for me. Chubb is he's getting 5 carries a game. Pacheco,
Tootin for me. It's Tootin for me, and then Pacheco will be third only because of volume.
Yeah,
he's healthy. All right, keep it moving. Start one quarterback this week: Rodgers, Geno, or Brissett. I think we hit this question on a longer version of it. But
yeah, we did. Well, so you said Rodgers, I said Tua.
Yeah. My quarterback is Dak. It's the same guy. You must be multiple leagues. My quarterback this week is Dak, but I use Jones weekly. Also, Joe Burrow. Should I drop Joe Burrow after I paid $3 for him for Judy or Ridley? My wide receivers are Chase, London, Nico, Sutton, Terry. I'm good. I'll keep Joe. Especially, I will say this. If you have like one more week before your trade deadline, if you're like one of those leagues that like let you go deep into the season before they kill the trades, like I'm going to keep Joe Burrow because that's somebody you could flip. Somebody's going to be needing. They're going to have Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to have another 11-point week, and they're going to be like, oh, God, I need a quarterback. And you're going to see the stars with Joe Burrow, and you're going to be able to get somebody that's actually going to have some consistent. Ridley's been awful all season. Judy just got his first touchdown, like week 10, and he just had his first decent game.
No, yeah, he's terrible.
So, that is that. Mathiasen. It's a start, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. So on that previous Diggs started.
He had already included the removal of the player.
Yeah, so it sounds like to sum it up, it was T. Rice for sure. It was White and Aaron Jones for sure. So you're right on the money. That's what we said. And then Henry is
Henry over like QJ, and the other one was let me see, Addison. Yeah, I would play Henry over both of those.
Yeah. Go Yachty in the chat. Appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like button. By the way, everybody, you're tuned in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe if you're not. We appreciate the love. DeMarcado or Tajay Spears this week. Probably going to be DeMarcado. It's weird. You think Bam Knight's going to be the guy, and they're going to feed him until Benson gets back. And then, especially after the DeMarcado, fumble for the end zone deal, which, by the way, if that play makes its rounds, this is not an advertisement, but if you haven't seen the new movie Chad Powers, it is the pinnacle of the story, and you should watch it. It's awesome.
What is that on?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
Oh, dude, it's actually good. Now it ends in a cliffhanger that will leave you angry, but it's good. Let's see.
I'm with you though. I'm with you with the DeMarcado take, only because of the fantasy points per first down. Yeah. I like just in a standard PPR. Tajay Spears seems to be like the best sign of life that they have on the Tennessee offense right now. But DeMarcado is going to just get those extra points from the first downs. I have them ranked adjacently in half PPR, but I think that getting that bump for the first downs, although that Arizona backfield is so confusing. I thought that he was dead to rights after he dropped that fumble, and now he's lead the team the last 2 weeks. So it's interesting to watch.
Yeah. The let's see here. Shakir, Addison are worthy at the flex.
Let's see. Not worthy. For sure. He has done absolutely nothing, especially now that Rashee Rice is back, and I think that's going to be a fairly low scoring game. Shakir, Addison. We talked about it a little bit with Dalton Kincaid not playing. You have Buffalo against Tampa Bay. They've been very porous against wide receivers, 38 points per game last 3 weeks allowed. Addison's got Chicago's also been porous. I just don't have enough faith in JJ. Give me the safe option in Shakir. I'll take the PPR floor with him.
There you go. Matthias said trivia. Who has more touchdowns this year, Jerry Jeudy or Zay Flowers? The answer is
don't they both have one?
They both have one. The difference maker, because I get the point here. The difference maker is Zay Flowers has almost 50 points more in fantasy which is, I mean, that's 5 a week, 50 points more in fantasy than Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy has like 60 total points in PPR. And then Zay is like 112 or 115 or something like that.
Well, Zay's getting carried, but that first 2 weeks, Zay was balling.
He said the point is Flowers sucks.
You know what's crazy is that Flowers is a much better real life football player than he is in fantasy, and that's just a testament to the way that the Baltimore Ravens offense operates. Like they don't hyper target him at all. I feel like he's one of those guys that's consistently open, and they don't really do anything with him. Like he's not like a featured player in that offense whatsoever.
The crazy thing is, outside of one game, every game he has more than 5 catches.
Right.
And he's in double digits every single week, except for 2 this season, which is not, but I mean, I understand the draft capital. What you were expecting was double digits and not 11 or 12. You're expecting double digits and 15 to 25,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the hard part is it's like, okay, you have, and we talked about this before the season. In the red zone, who are you going to throw to? Not Zay Flowers. You're throwing it to Hopkins. You're throwing it to Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson could run it in. You could also turn around and hand it off to Derrick Henry. So it's like, if you look at the options, even if he is your best receiver, he's the 5th option where fantasy points come most abundantly, which is in the end zone.
Yeah.
He's a 20 to 20. He's the 20 to 20 guy, which is good for football, but not good for fantasy. And he gets overranked every week.
He does get overranked. I agree. And I think that's Matthias's point, which he's been talking about most of the season on the show, is just that Flowers has been overranked. But Matthiasen, I know you've been hating. I'm sure the last 2 weeks you were happy to see a little life breathed into Travion. Like we talked about it in the show, it's probably going to be short-lived. It's Vrabel's thing to take somebody that put, 5, 6 touchdowns in 2 weeks and put them secondary to a guy coming off injury that has not been that. But, we'll see how it goes. Look, we are hitting the 10 o'clock hour. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for dropping all the questions. It's week 11. It's week 11, and you are not out of it. If you are me, I have a team that I started with 2. Like I had 2 wins up to 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks ago. Now I'm at 5 wins, and I'm 6th seed for the playoffs, which is crazy. But it's like, you're never out until you're out. So keep playing, keep working the waiver wire, keep trying to find the hit or the player you need to get there, and it'll happen. If I come back and win, the Kings Classic, it will be absolute insanity.
I don't think that I can go to the expo if that happens.
It would be absolute insanity. I have worked that roster, and Travion's now going. I'm getting Bucky back. Like we're gonna be on a mission here this last few weeks. And I went through my matchups. They're cush. And if I win 4 out of the next 5 weeks, I'm locked. So let's go. Let's go. Don't give up. Keep playing. You're never out till you're out. We'll see you next week, 9 o'clock Central from the forum. Have a good one.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.